Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. This April marks the 10th anniversary, sadly, of the passing of the great actress Elizabeth Sladen, known famously as perhaps one of the best companions in Doctor Who history, Sarah Jane Smith. And so, in tribute, throughout April, I will be reviewing various Doctor Who adventures and spin-offs starring Sarah Jane Smith, starting with the fourth Doctor adventure, The Android Invasion, originally broadcast on BBC One in November 1975 and written by Dalek creator himself, Terry Nation. Just in case you don't know the plot, the Fourth Doctor and Sarah have arrived at a very quiet village in England on Earth, where things are just not quite what they seem. It transpires that there are some androids posing as humans in the village, which are being used by an alien race known as the Kral as part of their master plan to invade Earth. Writer Terry Nation does a great job at storytelling in this four-part adventure. It's really refreshing to see him back in Doctor Who writing other than the Daleks. And he really plays to his strengths on this one, and most notably the doppelgangers, or that sort of theory of doppelgangers, which was very much relevant during the 70s as part of the Cold War, and that sort of paranoia that some people could be someone else. But given that science fiction sort of element in this story, that the humans are androids and you don't know who's who. So there's some really good mystery going on here. I really like the Kral here as the alien sort of villains for this story. I think Martin Friend and Roy Skelton did a really good at creating these characters. I thought the makeup looked really, really good as well for the 70s. Roy Skelton sounded a little bit like Zippy, but I don't care. I love Roy Skelton. It's always great to see him back in Doctor Who. Usually plays Dalek voices and other voices as well, but yeah, it was great to see him as an alien race here. But Martin Friend did a really good job as Stigran, the sort of head scientist for the Kral alien race. Again, with the makeup as well, it's really, really hard, especially with the lips moving as well. I think he did a really good job at bringing this character to life. Just to also mention that there's a DVD documentary of the making of the Android Invasion where Philip Hinchcliffe is a little bit harsh about the Kralls, really. He thought they were a good alien race, but it didn't quite suit this story. I think he was thinking that the Kralls would have been better in another story. I would probably disagree. I can see where he was coming from. I think he felt that they were a bit jarring for this story, especially with them being so clever at creating human androids. Like I said, I disagree. I thought the makeup was great. I thought it's a nice change of an alien look for this story. I think in hindsight, with what he was saying, I think if they added a bit more, maybe that the Kralls found the human form repulsive, I think that probably would have benefited them more, and I think probably Philip Hinchcliffe would have been a bit more satisfied with the Kral and their look. And speaking of makeup and effects, I was really impressed with the android look as well. There's a great cliffhanger at the end of part 2 where Sarah Jane is revealed to be one of the androids and the mask falls off, and then you just see these eyes and wires and computers, sort of microchips going on there. It looks really, really good. I mean, I just watched this the other day and I still think it holds up now, with it being made back in 1975 on an extremely low budget, to be fair. Good cast of side characters for the Android Invasion. It's really good to see John Levine and Ian Marter return as Benton and Harry Sullivan, respectively. I think Harry has a bit of the short end of the stick on this one. He didn't really have much to do, sadly. Ian left the show at the end of Terror of the Zygons after a full season with the Fourth Doctor, only to come back as a sort of a cameo appearance for the Android Invasion. But again, he didn't really have much to do. He was kind of just like the henchman, really, for the Kral. I think it would have been better if he just stayed at the towards the end of part 4 for Doctor Who, as part of the medical doctor at the science lab. I think that would have been better. and left all of the rest of the role for John Levine as Benton, I think that would have been a bit more stronger, because it's quite scary if you think about it, of having like a character that you know quite well in Unit, and Unit are like friends for the Doctor, only to be really the enemy of the Doctor, with him being an android. A slight spoiler there. So yeah, I would have left it more for Benson to do, and just have the cameo appearance for Harry Sullivan at part 4 of this story. Tom Baker and Elizabeth Sladen play off brilliantly together as the Doctor and Sarah. You really see their great friendship throughout their time on Doctor Who. And I like their performances in this one. I think they have a little bit more to do, because again, they get turned into androids or become android doppelgangers. And there's something sinister about their performances when they are the androids. They're just sort of that blank look that they give. And Sarah or Elizabeth Sladen sort of tilted the head when sort of like acknowledging instructions. Again, it's just some really, really good stuff here. And I love their performances. And I can't forget Milton Johns, who does a great job as Craven, the astronaut, has been basically bullied and manipulated by the Kralls. He does a great job here as being like this sort of, well, sniveling, kind of a sniveling character at first, but mainly he just doesn't have a backbone. He's been manipulated by the Kralls. And yeah, I've seen him on tons of various performances throughout sitcoms and dramas, and he always does a great job. And here, loved his character as Craven. There was also enough budget in this story for some stunt work, and there was some really, really good stunt work here. It's a bit random, but I really like the moment where the Fourth Doctor just smashes out the window to escape the androids. I thought that was so random, but done really well. You just have to admire it. It is very out of place, but again, just have to admire that stunt work and some really good fight skills between the Doctor and the android Doctor as well. That had a really good sort of fight scenes there. I just had to mention it in this review. I'm going to give the Android Invasion a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. And personally, I think it's a little bit of an underrated story when you compare it to some of the other horror-like stories that Philip Hinchcliffe was trying to introduce in his tenure of Doctor Who, like The Pyramids of Mars and The Brain of Morbius. I really like the horror B-movie element for this story, the Android Invasion. I thought that works really well, and yeah, you can see there is some glaring plot holes, especially when it comes to Craven's eyepiece, the eye patch as well, how he could not notice that his eye wasn't working. You can sort of argue that it was sort of a brainwashing type of thing, but yeah, if you kind of look into it a bit more, there is some more glaring plot holes. But to be fair, this story does have the charm and the great pacing that it just gets away with that. You don't really need to explain about that. You just, enjoy the ride and the story throughout. It's an easy watch, and it has some great makeup and some great visual effects, especially like the reveal of Sarah Jane as the android. Just really good stuff. Highly recommend this story. As you may know, Elizabeth Sladen sadly passed away 10 years ago due to cancer. Not only am I dedicating April to review various Doctor Who stories and spin-offs featuring Sarah Jane Smith, I've also set up a donation page to raise funds for Cancer Research UK. Cancer Research UK really does need your help to continue funding for research and putting their hard work to find ways to cure various cancers. And it's been difficult to fundraise, especially during this global pandemic. So if you can, please check out the link in the descriptions below to donate whatever you can to Cancer Research UK. This donation page will be live until the 31st of May 2021. Let's see how much money we can raise for our friend Sarah Jane Smith. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the android invasion, and also let me know in the comments about your thoughts regarding Elizabeth Sladen and Sarah Jane Smith. Were you very lucky to have met Elizabeth Sladen at a Comic-Con before? Or what sort of memories you have about Sarah Jane Smith's time in the Doctor, either in the classic era, did you watch it first time round as a kid, or even in the modern era of Doctor Who? Next time on Timey Wimey Review, I will be reviewing the 4th Doctor story, The Hand of Fear. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, if you can, please feel free to check out in the descriptions below the link to the donation page for Cancer Research UK. Until then, as the good doctor once said, if you're calling the butler, I'm very partial to tea and muffins.